You're listening to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon, presented by 92.9 Tom FM, an iHeart radio station.
Hello and welcome to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon. I, of course, am Kyle McMahon. It is episode 30. Woo! I can't believe we're at episode 30. By the way, I'm by myself today because this is an all-interview episode. So these are interviews that I've done regarding New York Comic Con, which you're going to hear all about that next episode. But I have awesome interviews today. I interviewed Dempsey Bryk, who is the star of The Birch, which is a new show on Facebook Watch. Oh my God, it is terrifying. And not only is it terrifying, but it's an incredible show. So I talked to Dempsey. I can't wait for you to listen to that interview. And then I interview the cast and executive producer of Impulse on YouTube. Woo, that is another good show. So well done. Awesome drama, awesome writing, awesome acting. So I talked to Missi, Pyle and Maddie, Hasson. They are the two stars of Impulse. And then additionally, Doug Liman is there. He is the executive producer of the show. So I'm really, really, really excited for you to hear these interviews. First up, it's Dempsey Bryk with The Birch on Facebook Watch. Here you go. All right, so let's get started. First of all, welcome to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon on iHeart Radio. I thank you so much, Dempsey Bryk, for talking with me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to get into it. I haven't done a ton of these, so I'm getting ready to bomb pretty hard.
Awesome. So you are in a new Facebook Watch show called The Birch, and it debuts this Friday, October 11th. I saw the first episode, and I absolutely love it. Tell me about your role in The Birch.
Well, first of all, yeah, thank you. Thank you for the compliment. So I'm playing Thurston, who is sort of a small-time drug dealer, and I'm sort of forced into it by my uncle because I need to pay my way and pay my brother's way because our parents are gone. But then because of some of the mistakes that I've made and some of the bad things that I've done, the Birch starts to come after me, and I kind of have to try to save my own and my brother's life.
And this started, originally it was like a concept short film, correct?
Yeah, so Crypt TV, they make a whole bunch of short films and just to introduce monsters and stuff like that. And I think this one was successful, so they had adapted it into the full show.
Awesome. And how does it feel? What does it feel like as an actor to be on something? I think Facebook Watch is so exciting and it's new, and I feel like it's awesome for our generation. It's perfect, to binge watch when you want. You can watch on your phone, on your iPad, on your computer, on the TV, wherever. How does it feel as an actor to be in something as cutting edge, really, as The Birch for Facebook Watch?
Well, it's cool. So when we're shooting the show, it kind of just feels like any, everyone was very passionate, so that was cool. But it felt like just a normal sort of production. But it's this time now, the release and this sort of thing, which is kind of making it different and interesting. I've never, I just don't know what to expect. I've never been on anything like this, so I'm kind of just taking it day by day. But I think it's just cool to be involved with that, that company, because it's a really big thing. And so it's just kind of cool to see how it's being rolled out and released and stuff. It just gives a little bit of freedom in the way that they're able to tell stories, because they're not releasing either one half-hour episode or one 60-minute episode once every week. So it's kind of a cool format they've got going.
Yeah, absolutely. And what can we expect, spoiler-free, from the show as a whole? I know that, I know what the part that I've seen, and I'm I can't wait to finish the story. But what is the journey we can expect to go on?
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's kind of funny. I only know so much about it because there's 3 different storylines, and I'm more privy to my own than the others. So I'm kind of excited, just like you are. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen with all of them, but I do know that there's some big surprises coming up, and and I don't know how much I'm supposed to say. I think that I think I'm safe to say that it's just, the threat starts to become more real, and we all start to kind of realize what's going on. And then there are some pretty scary moments and some pretty exciting twists, I think.
And what would you call the Birch? Would you call it a horror, a drama with some horror elements, a mystery? Like, how would you describe it?
Yeah, well, it's kind of weird because there's different storylines, and I think each one kind of has its own genre. Like, I think that I think mine is, close to, I would say it's, a mix between a drama and horror, and then I think some of them may, like drift closer to horror, and then others might be closer to drama. But it seems like a kind of mix of those two genres. I would say horror, monster horror, drama.
Okay. I love it. And do you think, I mean, again, spoiler free, but do you think we can expect more stories with the Birch in the future?
I honestly, I'm not sure. I know that from what I've heard, they're just really focusing on the release of this, and they're just like super, super stoked on that. So I haven't pressed them too hard to see what's coming up. So I honestly, I don't know. I just know that they're really pumped about rolling this one out.
Yeah, and so at New York Comic Con, they had the Birch activation, which was, not to be funny, but killer. I mean, it was so cool to interact with this monster that is part of, that is the integral part, the namesake of the show.
Yeah.
So
that's
I'm sorry.
cool. I actually don't even know what they did there. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at the New York one. I was only at the LA one here. So what was this thing at the New York one?
So at New York Comic Con, they had the Birch, the monster itself, where you could go and kind of interact with it, take pictures. I mean, it was a living, breathing Birch. It was pretty sick to see, because I had seen the promo images and the first episode, and then to see it kind of come to life, I was like, oh wow, this is like really, really killer.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, that's cool that everyone kind of got to experience that, because it's kind of trippy experience. Like being on set, we would we'd be walking around just trying to freak ourselves out. Like a lot of shootings, especially for this, considering it's like pretty terrifying, was just like, oh, get yourself scared. So I was just like in the forest listening to like scary YouTube videos, and then I'd like turn a corner and there's the Birch drinking a coffee, and I was like, I almost I almost died a couple of times just by heart attack.
Right.
Yeah, but it's just pretty trippy.
Yeah, you need more creepypasta, I think, when you're shooting.
You're what?
Creepypasta? Have you never heard of that?
Nah, I'm from Canada, so I feel like so many of these references that I keep hearing are going straight over my head, and people are like, this guy is like 4 years old, or he's just only reading books or something. Okay,
so when you get some time, Google creepypasta or search creepypasta on YouTube. These are the creepiest, like weirdest, disturbing, like stories that I've ever seen. It's so freaky.
Oh, God.
So it's called creepypasta. There's a whole bunch of them. I think it started on Reddit, and then people took it to YouTube, like as films and like audio stories and stuff. There are some terrifying ones. But yeah, do that. It's so scary.
Yeah, I'm a baby. I'm a baby with like horror stuff. Like I wasn't even gonna watch the show for a while. And people are like, Dempsey, you gotta watch the show. But yeah, I'm gonna look it up, and I probably won't be able to sleep. And I'll give you another call and be like, dude,
yeah,
I'm in the hospital now. Thank you for the recommendation.
So, what got you into acting? I mean, you started if I'm correct, you started on TV with Saving Hope, right?
Yeah, that was one of the first things, Saving Hope, and I think the first thing I ever did was Mary Kills People, but it was all around that same time, which they both took place in Canada. So my dad's an actor, but the thing is, he definitely did not want us to be actors. In fact, it was like very difficult to, have them get behind us, because I don't know, they knew it. It's a really difficult thing. The whole industry has got a whole bunch of like pitfalls, and there's like a lot behind the scenes. It's like very tough. So they were trying to keep us out of it. They were, I was actually in business school.
Oh wow.
In Canada. Yeah. I was there at Ivy at Western, which is, whatever. It doesn't mean much to the States, but it was something in Canada. And I like ran away. I like snuck down to New York over a weekend, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to like audition for some theater schools and not tell anybody. And if I don't get in, then, I'm just like, not good, and I just won't do anything. It was a lot of pressure, put on it, which is probably stupid for, people auditioning, kids out there, if you're auditioning for something, don't tell yourself you're going to quit if you don't get it. It's a lot of pressure. But no, so I just kind of ran away to New York, and I was like, okay, let me see what's up. I thought that if I got in somewhere and like was able to go to my family with that, they'd be like, a little more predisposed to be okay with it. But so I started pretty late. I mostly just did sports through my young life, and then ever since that, I started working in TV and film in Canada, and then moved out to LA fairly, a couple of years ago, I think.
That's awesome. And so, what was your backup plan if that didn't happen? Were you going to go back to business school?
Well, so it's a kind of funny story. I kind of always had this philosophy with like backup plans being the cardinal sin of that anybody could have. I always
agree.
thought it was like a parachute that would, it's like I thought that it would give me, an excuse to quit in moments that were hard.
Right.
There's this quote, I don't know who it was, but it was like burn the bridges burn the boats. It was a military quote. They had just traveled over the British Canal, I think, and I think this was World War II, and or maybe it wasn't. Maybe I'm getting this all wrong, but the whole concept was they burnt the boats, which was their escape plan. So it's either we win this battle or we're going to die.
Oh, wow.
Which is a bit of a hyperbole it's pretty powerful. But so that was the thing. I was like, no backup plans. I never really thought about it. It was actually kind of funny. My mom, my family saw the movie Whiplash, and I hadn't seen it, and she called me, and she's like, I was at college at this point, and they were like, Dempsey, you got to see Whiplash. And they were going to use it as a cautionary tale. They were like calling me, being like, Dempsey, what do you do? Are you going out? Are you having fun? And I was like, I think I'm like going to watch a movie. And they're like, go drink something. Go meet friends. But so I watched it, and then my mom like called me, and she's like, Dempsey, I'm a little, worried. You kind of remind me of that character. You kind of have to do one thing to the exclusion of everything else. Maybe you should be a little more balanced. But I just heard it like, oh, Mom, you're right. Like, I do have to do one thing to the exclusion of everything else. I should drop out of school and, go try to pursue it.
Which worked out.
That was kind of my way in. Pardon?
I said, which worked out for you.
Yeah, thank God. I mean, I guess I wouldn't have blamed my mom, but she might have blamed herself. If I like one day, called and I was like, in the ditch somewhere, I'm like, Mom, I'm not like Andrew Neiman. Like, I'm not a good drummer.
That's awesome. So what can we expect for you next after the Birch?
So right now I'm rehearsing a play in LA at Atwater Village Theater, and the production company is Circle X, and it's called Punk Play. So it's about me and this other kid, like two characters in the 80s who discover punk. And I've been kicked out, so I sort of start to room with this kid named Mickey, and we discover punk together and kind of go through this whole journey of like, adolescence, but also through the lens of like what is punk and what's not punk, and like if I have a mohawk, am I cool, and all that whole sort of, that whole thing. So that's at Atwater, and I think that's coming up sometime mid-November that we're going to start previews, and then I'm developing a film right now, which is it's like an indie coming of age, but it's about a boy in high school who's on the autistic spectrum.
Oh, wow.
So I don't exactly know what I mean, it's definitely something interesting and personal, but I don't know how much I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm trying, also I don't know if I can swear,
you're
but I just
fine.
feel like it's like, I'm like, oh, okay. So I feel like I'm like bullshit. I'm like, I don't know how much I'm like allowed to say. I feel like nobody's like going to tell me what I can say or not say, but I'm like, I just am paranoid I'm going to say something and the whole world's going to come crashing down around me.
Oh, no, you're good here.
Okay, sweet. But no, yeah, so that's essentially what it's about in a very general sense, but, I'll just like save all the details for as it comes closer and closer. But I'm really, really excited because I wrote that and I'm starring in it and producing it, so it's like a whole new thing for me, which is super exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting. And please come back to Pop Culture Weekly once that is about to launch. I'd love to talk to you about that. That would be awesome.
Of course, man. Of course. Yeah, that'd be super fun.
All right, cool. Well, Dempsey, thank you so much. Awesome talking to you, man. I cannot wait to watch the rest of the Birch coming this Friday on Facebook Watch. Thank you so much, bro.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. Talk to you soon.
Talk soon. Have
All
a good day, man.
You too. So there is my interview with Dempsey from The Birch. I love this show. I love him. Isn't he an amazing guy? He's just a cool artist, cool guy, cool actor. I just, it's like talking to your bro. In any event, Dempsey is starring in The Birch, which you can watch right now on Facebook Watch. So good. I can't wait to talk with you all about it as you go and see it. All right, up next is my interview with the cast of Impulse, which is streaming right now on YouTube. Season 2 just debuted. I talk with Maddie, Hasson, and Missi Pyle, stars of Impulse, as well as Doug Liman, executive producer. Here is my interview with them. Hey, thank you so much for talking with me. I'm Kyle with Pop Culture Weekly, iHeart Radio. I'm really excited to talk to you guys. So,
we're very excited to talk to you.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. So, first of all, Impulse is based upon the novel Impulse by Stephen Gould, and it's available on YouTube Premium, which I think is so awesome. And I want to see you guys, how you feel about that it's kind of a new generation of watching content, film and television, and it's kind of a mix. How does that feel for you as actors and as an executive producer?
What I love about being on YouTube, especially this season where it's free,
right,
is the kind of reach that we can have with Impulse. Because it's a big, fun, smart show, and it's meant for it's meant for a big audience, and so there is no one who has a broader reach than YouTube.
Right.
So I'm really excited that they've adjusted their format. Because last year we were behind a paywall.
Right.
And it was still, obviously popular enough for us to come back. But I'm really excited to see what happens this season.
Yeah, and
I think too.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and it's exciting that the world is yours now. I mean, literally anybody with access to the internet can watch Impulse.
Yeah, I've been trying to make Impulse for, this is ever since I made Jumper, I've been wanting to do Impulse, and then I only brought it to one place, to YouTube, and because I wanted to do something that was, it's outrageous. It's Maddie has, a crazy superpower,
right?
But I wanted to do it in a kind of grounded way that would be really disruptive to the, how people normally do shows with superpowers. And I just can't imagine a better place to be than YouTube, because it's a new channel, so it's inherently disruptive. And because we wanted to do something really grounded, like what would really happen to this mother-daughter relationship, to this small town, if somebody suddenly got a superpower.
Love it. And congratulations to all three of you. Impulse has a 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes. And that I mean, I think is a testament to the quality and the heart that you guys are putting in on this. Audiences and critics alike are loving it. So congrats to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Maddie, you play...
Credit,
I'm sorry.
Really, I mean, the fact that we were able to get actors like Maddie and Missi and the rest of the cast, is like it. Your director doesn't make a thing in a vacuum. and the show is so much better. And I've been wanting to make this for years, right? So I had high aspirations for what it could be,
Right.
and it has morphed into something so much more interesting. In a way that when I was making Born Identity, it morphed into something way more exciting and profound than I thought it was going to be when I went in.
Right.
My aspiration, and that's because of my partnership with Matt Damon on that, and so I'm so excited to be talking to you with Missi and Maddie on either side of me, because it has been such a team effort.
I love that, and it really shows. So, Maddie, you play Henrietta, Henry Coles, who discovers she has telekinesis, and you can teleport, but you have no
telekinesis. Can teleport, no telekinesis.
Oh, okay. So you can teleport, but you have no control over where you go. Don't you guys kind of call it like psionic? Like when you can move objects and stuff, like the
No, she can't do that. What happens, this is how it's been explained to me, and Doug, you can correct me when I'm wrong. And the first time she teleports is a good example. So
Okay.
The first time that Henry teleports, she's being assaulted by a classmate in his truck.
Right.
And she goes into a seizure, and she starts to leave her body and her mind, and then as she teleports, I guess you described it as like a gravitational collapse, and the truck collapses around her classmate, and it leaves him paraplegic.
Right. Okay. So that's okay. Gotcha. All right. So then you can't, at least as we've seen, you can't control where you teleport. This is for Maddie. So how is that like as an actress to, is it as exciting for you reading the script and performing this role to see this all kind of play out as it is for us to watch it?
It's so exciting. Every new script I got, I was so excited and happy and felt so lucky, because Doug is obviously an incredible director, an incredible producer, and an incredible person to work with, but also Lauren LaFranc, our show creator and writer of the show, has just taken it to a whole other level. And I think she's really, a genius. I think she's an incredibly talented person, and she really helped ground the show and make the world around Henry very intricate and detailed and interesting.
Yeah, I love that, and I love the cast is absolutely incredible. Missi, you play Henry's mother, of course, and how has that been to watch Maddie and Henry grow as the season progresses, and then now leads to season 2?
Well, Henry and Cleo have been like on this, just the two of us trip forever. And I've been dragging her along from place to place, because her father left when she was very young. And obviously, there's something to her power, but I don't really know anything about that. And I think I found this place for us to stay. And I think it's going to be good for her to be in a house with another girl her own age, but I'm very disconnected from her.
Right.
And I think once I find out about her assault, I go into full like good parenting mode. Like or at least the best I can with the limited resources that I have.
Right.
And then that immediately leads to me bringing in this family into our house where someone has assaulted her. But I created a dinner party, and then within a few days, the patriarch of that family is at my house with a gun.
Right.
So, and then that's the end of the season. So, season 2 is really going to start with Cleo wanting to just be a better parent and be more protective of Henry.
I'm excited to see where that goes. And, you brought up, obviously, the sexual assault. which Impulse really tackles sexual assault in a really real way, particularly in dealing with the emotional and, kind of psychic aftermath of that. And in my opinion, there's often a lot of victim shaming that tends to be done with sexual assault. And, I feel there's a chorus somewhere of, well, what did you do to, deserve that or whatever, this victim blaming, victim shaming. And I love how Impulse takes that scenario and makes a sexual assault survivor like Henry into a badass hero, and was that as actors I can't imagine, particularly for you, Henry, and Henry, I'm sorry, and Maddie, and as well as you, Missi, playing her mother, watching this happen. How was that, as actors to go through that journey, traumatic journey?
It's really, when Henry has a triumphant moment, you were talking about getting to watch a victim of sexual assault in a sort of fantasy world become a hero. It's incredibly satisfying when she has any sort of triumphant moment, and she gets to sort of address Clay. In the first season, you see her tell him off, and then she says that she has a lot of moments with him after the assault, which isn't necessarily common in real life. It's not a part of everyone's story, and I think it's really satisfying to get to live vicariously through her in those moments. Mm-hmm. But also on the other side of the coin, there's no straight line to being better for Henry. She's going to live with this trauma for the rest of her life, and she's not a hero. You know what I mean? She is just a regular girl with superpowers who has been assaulted and, doesn't know her dad and has issues with her mom, and she doesn't like connecting with people, but she needs to. And I think that's what makes this world so interesting. Nothing's black and white. It's all very real. And I think that is why people connect with her, because
Absolutely.
She's not really a hero, but you get to sort of live through her doing these things that you wish you could do.
Absolutely. And it's very, I love how you put that, because it's very much representative of, the viewer. You put it perfectly. It's not black and white. So yes, she does have the badass hero moments where it's, a triumph over, an obstacle. However, as you said, she has problems disconnecting with people. And I love that you said it's not black and white, because that's how all of us are, really. None of us, live in a black and white world.
I think that's how Lauren LaFranc, she really she really wanted it to be that way. She didn't want, that's also why she, I think, and I don't want to speak for Lauren, but I think that's why she really wanted, and Doug as well, to tell Clay's side of the story.
Right.
Because it's not just Henry's story.
Right.
It's his story as well. And you get to see
well, how did he, we're not necessarily born bad. Like, what happened to him to get to that place?
Right. And that's not something that you often see. You know what I mean?
But I've always been very interested in the grays, and just, I've always tried to see the world from my villain's point of view.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I really love that. That's, for me, that's a huge thing, living in the grays. And, sci-fi, this show is classified often as sci-fi, but that's not typically known for its heart and soul. And for me, Impulse feels more like an incredibly well-done, well-written drama that, just happens to have some, quote, sci-fi elements. Doug, was that intentional?
Yeah, I've always been interested in the humanity around, science fiction or action. It was like it's like I'm, Born Identity. I was in, I obviously was attracted to the idea of Jason Bourne, who's basically, a superhero.
Right.
But I really was interested in what it's like to date him, for Franca Potente, and the real person around the outrageous events. And so, when it came to Impulse, I was really interested in the effect her superpower, somebody with a superpower, was going to have on the family and the stepsister and the mom and the captain of the basketball team and all the different people that she's going to interact with and touch. And and so there was always going to be a real drama at the heart of this, because and that was kind of our rule, was it had to work even if you didn't have a superpower.
Awesome.
Right, and we go pretty far. If you look at the pilot, we go pretty far before we introduce her superpower, and it's. I feel like people would have watched, a whole season before we introduced the superpower, because, that's the caliber of the performances and of the writing, and of the world. It's a really compelling world to be in, and then you add the superpower. But that means that. Not everything revolves around Henry.
Right.
Sorry, Maddie. I know how you feel. Maddie doesn't love ensemble.
Yeah, be quoted saying a joke I made, Doug.
Yeah,
Please,
sorry.
honestly.
That was a joke, but it's a.
It's an inside joke.
Inside
sorry,
joke.
He's sorry
but,
about Doug.
But we're we're really it's one of my favorite things that Lauren brought to the show was, I think episode 4 of the first season, Sarah Desjardins, who plays her, I say her stepsister, but I think at that point they're not married. So
Mom's boyfriend's
child is, she comes home and there's something weird going on, and you're like, oh my God, this has to do with Henry.
Right.
What happened? Did the villains get to her? What did she find out about Henry's ability to teleport? What's going on? And then you find out, no, she's dealing with her own trauma of, the anniversary of her mother's death. It
Right.
has nothing to do with Henry.
Right.
And that was a real eye opener of, like, just because Henry can teleport doesn't mean everybody else's storyline stops.
And you also get to, I remember that scene, you get to see Henry be really selfish. So that's what I like about Henry so much. Is
Well, we realize all these superpower things are selfish, because we're like, suddenly,
selfish character.
But because suddenly someone gets a superpower and we just forget about everyone else's problems.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And Lauren never lets us do that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I like that she really puts a lot of typically negative traits like fully on display in Henry's character. And I think that's great, because nobody is totally good and nobody's totally evil and nobody's a hero and nobody's a villain. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And
I love that Missi's just trying to figure out how to be a good mother. And, and then how do you she's already having enough trouble. And then you add the fact that her daughter can now teleport. And how do you become a good mother to that child?
Right. Yeah, and that's an excellent segue.
You don't know what's happening.
Right.
But do parents ever really know everything that's going on
How
with
many
their child?
how many people's children are teleporting right now and they don't know it? Right?
That's the question we should be asking.
That's an excellent segue into my final question. I know you guys are super busy. So what can we expect in season 2 for Cleo and Henry's journey? Well, I'll let you guys tell it.
Well, I can just say that, for Cleo, obviously she's starting to take, more of the front seat with Henry and is really becoming, fiercely protective of her. And is for the first time, like, mothering her in a traditional way, like, I need you to come home. I'm giving you a curfew, and Henry's kind of always wanted that from her mother. And now that it's happening, it's just not really an opportune time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Henry this season is faced with the idea of losing her mother for the first time and it really being her fault. And that forces her to try to gain control of her powers. It's a real driving force, but behind her powers growth. And as it grows and she can travel further, she has to decide what the real way of protecting her mother is, if that's being with her or if that's being far away.
I cannot wait for Impulse Season 2. Maddie, Hasson, Missi, Pyle, Doug, Liman, thank you so much for speaking with me. October 16th, Season 2 premiere of Impulse. Thank you, guys. I really, really, really enjoyed talking with you.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you. Thank you,
had
Kyle.
a great time. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye.
Bye. See what I mean when I say, like, how awesome those guys are? The show Impulse is awesome. I'm talking about really, really killer. It is, well, I mean, you heard me talk about it in the interview. It's, it's hard to pin down what it is. It's a well-written show, top-notch crew. I mean, it's just awesome. And you need to go right now and watch Impulse on YouTube Premium. And now it's available for everybody. So make sure that you watch it. Start with season 1. It's that good. And then, you'll obviously go on to season 2. And also Halloweeny time, watch The Birch. Whoo, whoo, whoo. I can't wait to talk to you guys about that show either. So in any event, there is episode 30 of Pop Culture Weekly. Can't believe they haven't canceled us yet. But you guys keep it going. You keep it growing. Every single week we're growing bigger and bigger and bigger. We're hitting the top of the top podcast charts regularly. Like, you guys are just doing big things, and I can't thank you enough. I get to do what I love to do because of you guys. I love interacting with you guys. I love hearing what you have to say about what I have to say. And, you guys just rock. So we've got some awesome, exciting interviews coming up over the next month or so. So I'm really excited to share that with you. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit me up on social. I'm at KMac Music pretty much everywhere except Facebook. I'm at Real Kyle McMahon. All right. Hit me up. Let me know what's going on with you. See you next week. We out.
You're listening to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon, presented by 92.9 Tom FM, an iHeart radio station.
So normally right here, it's something funny.